Hey everyone, so amongst the way overdue videos, the one I'm going to be doing today is changing the brake pads on the very original classic URB-Es with the side mounting calipers. Been really busy for me. I actually have a new day job. I got this thing, so I sold the Magnum and picked up this van, which I'm probably going to start a new YouTube channel on, building it out kind of as a camper. I've already got like a lift kit and tires on it, some lights and things like that, but that's been taking up a bit of my time. But with the new models of the URB-Es out, I figured it was time to catch up on some things. So before I get started on the brakes, I was going to show you what else I was lucky enough to get my hands on. This is the new Pro GT. I got it on loan. One of the projects I will be working on, hopefully on my next video, is to make some homemade mud flaps. We'll interchangeably call them fenders, mud flaps. They're more of a mud flap because they're plastic. They'll sit kind of through the frame, come up and back. Similar to how I did the ones for the classic URB-E, and then the ones in the front will kind of stick out the front and then hopefully cover the back part of the wheel that would normally be spraying water and mud back towards your feet and legs. That should be another fun project, but in the meantime, this thing is amazing to ride. I am very impressed and look forward to having some fun with it. First step, getting that rear wheel off. I've already pre-loosened these for demonstration. The next step, if you have one, is getting the fender off. These were awesome fenders. I love them. And this video will kind of be a good segue into my next video, which is designing kind of a homemade fender for the new Pro model URB-E, and perhaps even the Sport model. I did a set of my homemade fenders based off the Mucky Nuts mountain bike, little plastic foldable fenders. That's what I'll be doing for the Pro and the Sport as well. But for now, these original URB-E fenders were a lot nicer. One of the things that I didn't do the last time I pulled this off is replace these little foam double-sided stickies. And because I didn't, there was this added vibration while riding. With those replaced and actually stuck on there, they're pretty good deadeners. So if you're replacing or taking this off, remember to do that. Okay, so now with some room to work, use an Allen wrench here, get the caliper off. Gonna loosen the brake cable first. I don't take this fastener off all the way. That way I just won't lose it like I tend to do things. And then these two side bolts that hold it on. It helps to alternate back and forth as they're tensioned. Tends to bind up if you try to get one side completely out. and off it comes. After that, I just back out this brake cable. There it is. So once you have it all apart, on the back side of the caliper there'll be this Allen cap that we will need to remove. You'll notice that it has a little magnet on there. Shake out the first disc here. So these magnetically attach to those outer portions of the caliper. This one's actually not in bad shape. Show you a close-up here of these things. The back sides, these are the magnetic ones that stick to the inside and outside of the calipers. And look at that guy. Edges are all broken off, fairly well worn, not even a whole lot of overall pad left. This one was in better shape, but still you can see how the corners are breaking off and pretty thinned out there. So here are the new ones. See, nice and flat. Plenty of material on there to get you stopped. Let's put it back together. So basically we're just going to drop the new pads straight in. One will drop onto the outside of the caliper, and this one will actually stick to that cap we took off and just thread back in. And there we go. See if I can get a close-up of the action in there. Hopefully you can see it. A little glare here, so I can't really see what I'm doing, but hopefully you can. So once that's done, we just put it all back together. But I won't, because I have different plans. So I wanted to show you the difference between the old and the new style calipers and left rear fork. Since I'll be upgrading my wife's URB to the newer style brakes, figured now would be a good time. So the original design of the rear fork had these vertical mounts here that were threaded on the side and allowed the caliper to mount in as such. The newer design forks for the classic URB, which again is no longer made, has the threaded mounts above on the top, so this fork would sit in here, and then these are the new style calipers that would mount up here like this and action that way. So being that these newer style that they went to are so much easier to adjust, there it's just twisting this little outside knobby here, and it lines them up and adjusts them properly. Much better option. So I was fortunate enough to get my hands on one of these new rear forks, and I'll be upgrading it. I was planning to do that upgrade at a different time, so I won't show you that, but I can show you the final product. Basically all it's going to involve is removing the 3 rear bolts, getting the arm off, putting the new one on, and then just reattaching the brake caliper in the right direction here. And should be simple enough. Same brake rotor, everything else is the same, it's just the caliper and the arm that's different. So I'll show you that once I'm done with this whole mess. So as a quick follow-up, I figured this video would be a lot more useful if I included a shot of the new brake calipers and how the brake pads swap out on those. Since I have a new set, before I put them on, I figured I would go through that process as well. Fairly easy, actually. Again, in this case, you don't need to remove them. They could still be bolted onto the bike with the wheel behind here. You will have access to a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. The wheel would definitely need to come off for this because the pads drop out to the bottom, and of course the brake pad would collide with the brake disc if the wheel was still on. So if you pull the wheel off just like you normally would in the video I showed earlier, this will allow the brake pads to just push out towards the bottom. So those will come out the bottom. And these are what the brake pads look like. They're inside this little retaining clip. I'll include links in the description. I believe these are the Shimano Avid or something like that type brake pad. But I'll have links below. For these you'll need 2. And to put it back together, just make sure those are seated. Then from the bottom, okay, this is a good point. This little pressure plate, or I don't know what you would call this, just fell out, and that goes on the outside of the caliper. There's a little hole and slot that fits into in there, so if that falls out on you, make sure to put it back. Little tricky putting it back in there. You kind of have to line it up perfect, and then it should fall back into place. So if that falls out on you, make sure to get that back in there. The pads would insert from the bottom, and once they're in there, the bolt should go back in and thread right back up. So fairly easy, actually a little bit easier on this one than on the old style calipers. Make sure that's nice and snug. I have to over tighten, just tight enough, and then that should work. Let's see if I can't get a shot there. So yeah, that's the new style. Awesome caliper, adjustable here. You can actually see how this threaded knob here will tighten up the brake pads to each other for adjustment. Cool little URB-E badged caliper. Looking forward to getting this put on. Alright guys, well I hope that was helpful, and for you classic URB-E owners that needing some brake pad replacements, this video will be helpful. It's really easy to do. Actually you could probably do it without even removing the calipers, but it's just easier to work with if you do. As far as future plans, the garage is a mess, as you could probably see behind me, with car parts and just all sorts of stuff, but I'm hoping to set it up more of as a workshop and studio where I can have a permanently mounted camera and just do more of these types of videos. And let me know in the comments what kind of things you're curious about, what kind of things you'd like to see, any kind of repairs, modifications that you are curious about. We're carrying a lot of good conversations in the forum. So lots of fun stuff to talk about there. So if you're not on there, check it out. And subscribe if you like the videos and the channel, and let me know what you think. Thanks a lot for watching.